Hey everybody, it's me, Undead Viking. I just want to do a quick little intro here. I get asked all the time, hey, what's your favorite game? What's your all-time favorite game? What's your all-time favorite game to play? And the thing is that I know what they want. They're asking me. They want me to tell them what board game do I love more than anything? What game can I play over and over again? And I have trouble answering that question because my favorite board games, they waffle back and forth. I've said many times that if I wanted to say what my top 5 board games are, well, what day of the week is it? You know, I mean, there's staples that are in there that I'm always going to love. I'm always going to love Eldritch Horror. I'm always going to like Battlestar Galactica. I'm always going to like games like Pillars of the Earth. I'm always going to like games... I probably like over here. Seasons is over there. I really like that. You know, 12 Realms is over there. I like playing that. You know, Progress is over there. You know, Myth. You know, Plepines. You know, I mean, oh, Plepines, man, I haven't played in a long time. So I'm just like looking at all around, and like it would just be like my mood at that time. But by and large, if you ask me honestly what my favorite game to play, more than anything else, and that game is poker. I love playing poker. I started playing poker when I was young. My dad taught me, as I think a lot of our fathers taught us how to play poker and blackjack and games of gambling. And you know, and I learned how to play on 5-card poker, 5-card draw. And then I moved on to like, you know, 7-card stud and things like that. And then when I got older, it was one of those things where my friends and I would always like get together and we would say, let's play poker. And we would play like 5 cents a chip, you know, just super cheap. And you play with an ante and you whatever. I mean, I remember playing with my dad. He has this penny jar and we would just dump out pennies and give each other pennies and we'd just play for pennies. And I really liked that. But I mean, we would play like 5 cents a chip and we'd play with those old cheap 5-cent bicycle chips, you know, the ones with the ridges that can stack together and things like that, you know. And we actually had this beaten up ice cream pail, and we called it the Busket for whatever reason. I think it was because they reference the Busket in oh god, what was that movie? It starred Dennis Leary. And it was with Christopher Walken. God, I can't remember the name of it right now. Basically, a bunch of people kidnapped Christopher Walken, and he was a mobster of some value or something. And Dennis Leary is like his bodyguard or whatever. God, I can't remember. Suicide Kings. Somebody else probably yelled it out there. It was Suicide Kings, you know. But yeah, and so like in that Dennis Leary accosts a guy that's like got a busket, and so we just called it our busket of chips. But anyway, regardless, man, I haven't thought of that forever. But you know, we played a lot of poker and then we kind of died down. But then there was the poker boom with the World Series of Poker, and everybody was like, yeah, some guy named Moneymaker won millions of dollars because he entered a Poker Stars tournament. We're like, what's Poker Stars? He entered a Poker Stars like $20 satellite or whatever, and then like basically he got an entry and then he won the whole World Series of Poker. It was like this perfect, like, great story or whatever. And so then we started getting into Hold'em and learn how to play Hold'em, and then we played a lot of that. When I lived, my last apartment I lived in before I met my fiance, now wife, I had this 1-bedroom apartment, and the main living room basically had a giant poker table in it, and that's it. And that's what we did. We played poker at that table, and we played 3-4 nights a week easily. And we just sat around the table, and when I wasn't playing that, I was playing Poker Stars, and you know, it was just all like this. That was what we did. I mean, it was just that was our weekly regimen of playing poker, and I loved it. I mean, I have so many great poker stories. I have so many great poker bad beats or poker wins and things like that that I could just regale people with if they were bored and they wanted to, like, you know, start yawning. But you know, it's poker is a very 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 trying game, and it's very very difficult to become good at it, in my opinion. I'm still learning. I'm still getting better each time I play it, and for the longest time, we just played with really, really cheap chips. And I'm going to kind of, that's what this thing is about, poker chips. But fairly recently, like in the last couple months or so, I just finally decided I'm going to own a nice set of poker chips. I mean, you can get cheap poker chips. They're easy to find, they're easy to buy, they're out there, and you can track them down, you know, anywhere. But I decided I was going to do some research into poker chips. I was going to research, like, what constitutes a good poker chip, like what is a top-end poker chip, and I was fully understanding that I was going to be dropping, like over $100 on like a nice set of poker chips. Now, as I want to do, I did research upon research upon research. I found many different poker chip forums. I asked people for advice. I watched videos, and I really dug deep into, or at least for me, dug deep into the whole world of poker chips. And I've gotten to the point now where I think I'm fairly knowledgeable about it. And then I made what I thought was a fairly knowledgeable purchase as far as my set. Now, that being said, I also wanted to buy a set of chips that I could use because I'm getting into the 18XX games. And that's why I'm kind of doing this, is because I know a lot of people out there either play 18XX games or play other games with paper money. And also maybe you play like a Martin Wallace game that has those tiddlywinks for the money. And having poker chips as a substitute for that, it just makes the game more fun, in my opinion, because it isn't a crummy a very, very like poor representation for the money you use in the game. So there you go. I mean, so what I wanted to do is, like I said, I spent the last couple of months researching poker chips, and I can't not have poker chips in front of me and not play with them. I put these down. So I finally made a couple of purchases of sets of poker chips, like that are not like the standard ones you see in the market on the aisle at Walmart or Target. And I'm actually very pleased with what I picked. And so I hope maybe I can give you a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of idea if you're going in the market for purchasing some chips, and I can help you out as far as that's concerned. So this is a very long video. You might want to have it on the background at work or whatever. It includes a customer service nightmare story that I just want to give people a heads up as far as dealing with some companies that are out there. And yeah, so there you go. I'm going to just kind of go through it. I'm not going to come back and do a conclusion or anything like that. I'm just going to show you the different poker chips that I personally got, that I tested out, that I looked at, and ultimately I'm going to tell you exactly what I purchased and why I did, and what I'm looking at maybe purchasing on in the future. So, alright, cool. So this is like the Undead Viking poker chip story or whatever. So enjoy, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those to the best of my ability when I see them. Alright, cool. Okay, so before I show you the different types of poker chips that I have personally purchased and I've looked at in my search of finding that like perfect set, if you will, for both playing my 18XX games and other games that I like using chips instead of paper money, and also for when I play poker with my friends. I just want to say that I am not an expert in this whole poker chip world. I feel like I've done quite a bit of research over the last month or two in this search that I've had, but I'm sure there are going to be many people out there that are going to watch this video, or maybe not watch the video, who knows, but I know there's tons of people out there that know way more about this stuff than I do. So by all means, I'm always willing to learn, so if you know something I don't know and have suggestions that I might be interested in, post them, let me know somehow. I'd appreciate it. So, as with everybody, during the big poker boom, I always used to play poker with my buddies, just as like kind of an aside. We never really did it hardcore. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that own a case that looks something like this. This is actually one of two cases that I own, and these are the classic chips that have, oh shoot, I actually forgot. Hey, if you ever do play poker, or you know, just may I suggest that you always use plastic playing cards, and chem cards are like the Cadillac of cards, if you will. But the Copag cards, these are awesome. And as far as plastic cards go, I personally feel like these are just as good, and they're about half the price of chem cards. And you know, I didn't really want to talk about these, but the cool thing about plastic cards, if you don't know, I mean, you can bend them and stuff like that, and they retain their shape because they are completely plastic. If I bent this completely or over to the other side, it would snap in half. I mean, that's just the way these things are. I think chem cards wouldn't, if I remember correctly. But like, you are able to kind of mess these in. These aren't paper, so if you like spilled a drink on them with just a little water, you can clean these off. So if you haven't played cards or poker with actual plastic cards, like you can find decks of those on Amazon for like 10, 11 bucks, like a box like that for relatively cheap. So there you go. That's just something I'd suggest. Anyway, so here we go. If you were like part of the big poker boom back when, remember Moneymaker, like won all the money and what have you, and so everybody all of a sudden wanted to play Texas Hold'em, you probably own a set like this. These are the types of poker chips that I used for every single time when we got together to play poker, and everybody has a set like these. They have no denominations on them. They have nothing on them. They're very, very slick. They don't really stack well. They slide all over the place. But everybody owns these because they're cheap and you can find them everywhere. You can find them at Costco's and Walmart's and all kinds of places. And like my father bought me this set like when I started playing a lot of poker, and then like I thought that was really cool. You know, like he knew that I was kind of into it and I really enjoyed playing the game, and so like he got these for my birthday. He bought me a couple of sets, and these, you know, work great. I mean, they do exactly. This is the big thing about poker chips, and I'm just gonna say this right now. The chips are really aesthetic. It doesn't matter what they look like. I mean, you obviously there's some that are going to be better than others, but ultimately the whole goal of a poker chip is just to take the place of money. The reason why casinos don't have you gamble with straight money is because when you see poker chips, you're not thinking of these as money. You're just like, these might be worth $100 each or whatever in some casino you're at, but they're just plastic. You know, until you actually get up and walk over to the cage and get the money for them, people just can spend these easier. They don't really think twice about it. Whereas if I had $500 in my hand instead of these 5 chips, you'd think twice about putting $500 bills on the table. I mean, I would. I mean, I don't know. There might be some people out there that have a lot of money that wouldn't care one way or the other. But that's the whole point behind poker chips. And so the whole point for when we play poker is that, like, we, of course, don't play for money, right? But so we have to have something that signifies what we have as far as, like, you know, until we, like, run out and we're knocked out of a tournament. And then also the purpose here is that we're using them to replace paper money or money that isn't very good in other games because of the fact that just texture-wise and just use-wise, it isn't as easy. And the whole point is, like, especially with 18xx games like I'm getting into now, is that paper money takes a long time to count. It sticks together. You gotta like fumble with it. And 18xx games tend to last a long time as it is. So if you have a good set of poker chips that you can use to substitute, that all the better, because it's going to shorten down the exchange time and everything with the money. Now, you can find a set like this, like I said, online, anywhere. There's different types. These have no, like, real... These have the different, the card suits on the front, and they have these little dots on the end as far as the decoration, as far as how the chips look. There's also what's called a dice chip. I think, is this a dice chip? No, this is just some random chip I found somewhere. But dice chips instead have like a little die around the outside, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you Google dice chips, you find them. I mean, I just, for whatever reason, these are the types I have. A buddy of mine, his poker set has dice chips as well. And like I said, you can find these pretty cheap all over the place. And so if you are just looking for something that you want to use for either your home game or when you play poker, or if you're looking for something just quick and simple for your 18xx games, these will work just fine. And you know what? These are the poker chips that I've used for the last 10 years. Until just recently have I gotten different things and done research. So, and they worked just fine for the purpose, so just don't worry about it. Now, I'm going to show this to you, basically because I'm very lucky in the fact that I own a couple of sets of these. Back when there was a website, I think it's called Discount Poker Shop, they had these sets of mini poker chips. I've shown these in a few of my videos before, and these are pretty sweet. I have to totally admit. You can see I haven't, this is the one set I haven't used. My other set, I couldn't find it. I think I loaned it out. But this is a set I seriously, I bought 2 cases of this because they were super cheap. They're like $10 or something cheap. And I know right now if you have a set of these, people are willing to pay out the nose for them, but I can't get rid of them just because they're so cool. And I take this with me. My other set I take with me when I go gaming and I want to have a set of chips. And it's the one thing, like normally I'm pretty cool about having my games out there and loaning them out and everything like that. But I keep my eye on the other set. And like I said, I loaned it out to a friend of mine that I know I can trust. He's going to hold on to it for me. But I keep my eye on these because these are like pretty sweet, I have to fully admit. Now, these chips obviously are smaller than normal. These work great. If you can find these, trust me, track them down. And I really hope the company that made these remakes them, because there's a couple of things about these that I really, really like. One, we're not getting denominations on there, which is it, but these are about the size of like, if you can kind of see, they're obviously smaller. And they're right around a quarter size is how big they are. Like you can compare it to my thumb here. And they have a nice edge spot on the side. I really, for whatever reason with poker chips, I like the edge spots. I like the spots on the outside. I like those designs. I think it's just when they're stacked together, I like seeing them, like all those spots like kind of either, just together or not or whatever, and I like seeing them all together. And then the thing is that these are bright enough and the colors are different enough that you can look at somebody else's stack and you can see exactly, what they have, And I do like the fact that these, the like kind of like this gray off color, white chip that they have, they notice the difference. Like these have white in this, and this is colored, but in this case, this is colored and this is off. I just kind of like the difference there. It is what it is. All this being said, these are very tough to find right now. I might be wrong, but I know that like if you have sets of these, they are considered to be very rare. And the really nice thing, one, like these cases or whatever, they kind of weigh a little bit. And if you have a lot of chips, you gotta remember chips weigh right around, even the lightest chips weigh about 9-10 grams a piece. And when you get 500 of those in a case, they start weighing a heck of a lot. I have a couple of large cases that can hold 1,000 chips for some of my larger poker tournaments. And those cases, they weigh a good 15-20 pounds. They're very, very heavy and they're very cumbersome to lug around. So one, these chips, and as far as I can tell, they have some weight to them. So I think a lot of these chips, they have a metal slug in the inside of them. I've never broken one of these. I don't plan on it. But they feel like, and you can kind of feel it, especially when you stack chips, or you can kind of hear, and I don't know if you're going to be able to hear that, but you can kind of hear that metal cling right there. So these have some weight to them. I think if they're just plastic, they'd weigh almost next to nothing. I should say that those chips I just showed you before, the cheap chips, those also, they feel like they have a metal slug in them, and so they have these weight to them, and they stack pretty well because of the weight. Like, see, I can just sit there and jiggle this, and yeah, it's going to fall over, but when you have stacks of these, it does work pretty well. But the nice thing about this is a lot of games have games that are blind bid games, and because these are small enough, you can put a handful of these into your hand, and you can cover your hand up and put your hand out for the blind bid, and you can actually have them all in your hand and hide them. Now, as I said, if you can track down a set of these and get it for a reasonable price, I highly, highly recommend it, just because of the fact that if you're going to be going to gaming conventions, if you're going to be going to friends' houses, things like that, this is way more portable than anything else that you're going to bring with, that you're going to go anywhere else. And there's a ton of chips in there, and you're going to have a lot. And so and as I said, it might be difficult for you to track down a set of them. And I'm not showing that to gloat by any means. I wanted you to be able to see those and see what they looked like. And so if you've heard of them, that's what they look like. All right. So now what happened is that I got it in my head, and then I do this every once in a while, I got it in my head that I wanted a nice set of poker chips. We kind of got back into playing poker after having a long break, my friends and I got it in my head that I really wanted a nice set of poker chips. So I went online, and I just started going to all the discount poker websites, and I started looking at stuff. And I actually happened upon a gentleman's YouTube channel called Hobby Philic, and he actually reviewed, and I suggest if you want to go Google that, just Google poker chip review, and he's got like 30 or so different reviews of different poker chips, and very, very well spoken, very, very knowledgeable, way more knowledgeable than I am, and I strongly suggest if you're interested at all, you go check that out. But and he reviewed several different types, and I learned a lot from what he had to say. But digging around, I found this set. This is called, and I should mention that almost any good poker vendor online is willing to send you, at a very nominal fee, is willing to send you a set of sample poker chips. And so, and that's what I got with these. These are the Monte Carlos. These are a 14 gram. They're very heavy. A lot of different things about poker chips, and I'm going to get off on a few tangents here, so just bear with me. I, along with nearly everybody else that I know of, when I saw, I was like, oh, these are 11.5 grams, and these are 12 grams, these are 9 grams, and I saw these, and they're like, these are 14 gram chips, and I was like, oh, I want my chips to weigh a lot. And then I realized that, no, chips that weigh a lot, it's not necessarily means that they're better. Now, all of this being said, ultimately, if you're going to go out and buy and spend a few $100s on a poker chip set, you want to buy the thing that you like. That looks nice. It feels good in your hand when you're holding on to them. You're going to want that more than anything else, because ultimately, as I said before, poker chips are just there to represent either points or money or whatever you're going to use them for. And these and all the other chips I'm going to show you here are going to work just as well as those cheap ones I showed you at the very, very beginning. They do the exact same thing. This is just an aesthetics type of situation. But anyway, so I liked these. I liked, as a member, I told you about, I liked the edge spots. I saw the pictures of them. I liked these edge spots on the sides. I thought, these would look really nice stacked together. I kind of liked this shiny look on the side, and see if you can see that, like the kind of little glitter thing in there. And plus, the really nice thing about these is the dollar value. It's just bam, it's right there. You can see it. It is, this is 5,000. I mean, you're not going to mistake it. I'm going to show you some other ones here in a little bit where the monetary value on the chip is not going to be as easily seen. It's just not going to be something, and that bothers me a little bit. I want to be able to look at the chip and see how much it is worth immediately. And so I got these to look at them, and I thought, well, these are kind of cool, and I like them. And they have lots of different denominations, as you see. And the thing about buying poker chips is that, for the most part, a lot of these things come in racks of 25, and so you have to buy. You can't just buy. I want 7 25s. I want 4 100s. You can't go that route. So you're going to go out and you're going to look, and a lot of these things are sold at a certain number of cents per chip, and these are in the lower end spectrum of how much these cost. I'm going to guess, if I remember correctly, I've seen them as low as 10 to 12 cents a chip in some places. And you might think that's crazy, because if you buy 100 chips, then you kind of work out how much it costs and everything like that. But in all honesty, it's that's nothing for chips. For poker chips, in comparison to some of the stuff I'm going to show you here in a little bit. So keep that in mind. Now, as I said, these are really nice because of the fact that I like the numbers, they pop. I like the fact that everything's kind of a different color. I don't really like how the $50 one and the $10 one, they kind of look the same, and if they're stacked together, they kind of get lost with each other, if you understand what I'm saying there. So they kind of get mixed up. That's one detraction I have to this set. But, you don't have to have a $10 chip. You can just use the 50s, and if you're going to be using, you could use lots of 5s or what have you instead. And for that matter, you can get rid of the 50s and just use a lot of the 25s instead. Just that being out there. Now here's the deal, and I'm gonna see if I can find the chip here. Hold on. Now these chips, I'm probably not gonna be able to find it now. These chips, they have situations where they have quality control issues because of the fact that they're so mass produced. And like I said, just give me a second here and I gotta find the chip in question that I want to show you. But it's gonna be kind of tough because like there's lots of little bumps because, oh, and I should say this before I get any further. You're going to look up and you're going to see listed in many different places clay chips. People are going to say these chips are clay, you know, and the thing is that, and I've seen this set and other sets I'm going to show you in just a little bit referenced as being clay chips, but these are not clay. These are plastic. These are plastic with a metal insert. And the thing is that I think, you know, to be legally saying that these are clay, like maybe like as a part of like the plastic that's used for these, there's just like a little bit of like a clay composite that they put into the mold when they make these. And so, and then like, I don't have any like true clay chips. I mean, those cost a lot. I'm actually in the process of trying to design one and ordering some. I don't have any true clay chips. The thing is that these are like, if you kind of like, I mean, I apologize. You're probably not going to be able to see this, but there's like all these little, like you can kind of see in some places where like there's this little, like there you can kind of see it right there where you can see where that, geez, there you go. Like you can kind of see where it doesn't match up and stuff like that. So these are a injection mold, if you will, that like they have the metal insert and then they kind of put it over, and then these little things are stickers. Now, when I got these as when I got them as like a sample set, one of these stickers just wasn't on. It had slid off, and I actually was able to pry it off with an X-Acto knife and then stick it back onto the location that it was supposed to be. So the quality control just doesn't exist really technically with these types of chips because they're so mass produced. But you know, I was able to peel it off and then glue it back on just easily. There was no problem with it. Now, ultimately, I did not decide to go with these for lots of different reasons. Mostly because I did some research into them, and I found out that basically, you know, they're a low-end chip, and because of the fact that poker chips kind of last, you know, a good set is going to last you for a long time. There's no reason. I was like, why would I spend, you know, like $150 on a or whatever on a set that I was eventually going to want to get rid of? I'm going to want to move up the ladder, if you will. So that's why ultimately I didn't go with those Monte Carlos. Even though I like the design, I like the edge spots, I liked the denominations on them, and the fact that they had several different denominations really gave it a really good. I had a really good opinion about those. So, all right. So moving to like a point where we're getting a step above, in my opinion. Once again, these are all just kind of like my opinions of chips, if you will, and how they feel and how they look. These are these are still an injection mold chip. These are, I believe they're called like a NextGen chip or a NextGen style of chip. These are, they have no insert. You can't feel it, but like basically like this is like a heavy 14-gram chip. These injection molded, these are still plastic, but it's hard to explain. They don't feel like that plastic. They don't feel like rubber. These actually feel like kind of more like clay. I think it's the texture on them. And plus like and these are like replicating like a classic old casino in Las Vegas, like the Dunes Casino. And these have, like, as I said, the cool little edge spots. I like these for that color. And then you can kind of see, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but you can see those like little rings there. Those are the injection points where like they've created this chip as far as making this mold. And then you can kind of see there's this, like around this you can see it's written Dunes on the side, and that's like very, very hard pressed inside of it, and I kind of like that. And plus these chips, a lot of chips are rounded. Here, let me grab one of these again. So this chip is kind of like rounded. I know you're not going to be able to see it until it focuses. Let me put my hand behind it. There you go. These are like, they have like a kind of a beveled edge. But these chips, they're very, very sharp. They have a very, very sharp edge. And I like that. Once again, that's just my personal opinion. I like the way that feels. And I like the way that you know, when I pick it up, they stack well together. So when I have a stack of chips, they are like just rock solid, like next to each other. Like you don't see any like points or missing spots or anything like that. And when I have multiple chips of different denominations, like you have that look, and I really, really enjoy how that is. Now, I really liked these Dunes chips, and I thought about getting a set of these because of the fact that they have lots of different denominations. Here, let me get these out of the way so you can kind of just see. Lots of different denominations. I liked the 3-color little banners or whatever. And that's, I think those, as far as the edge spots, those look really cool. They come in a lot of denominations, you know, quarter, you know, dollar, you know, $5, you know, you can see that. I don't really like, you know, the fact that this is like a tiny dollar amount that's on there, but once you played with them long enough, I would assume you get used to that. I almost got a bunch of these. I was like, you know, these will work really good because of the multiple denominations. I like the way they felt. They were a lighter chip, so if I have a bunch of them in a case, they aren't going to weigh a ton. But the company that was selling these, Apache Poker Club, which I can very much recommend as a great website to go to. I bought everything I got from them. Excellent customer service. They answer their phones if you have any questions, anything like that. They put these Desert Palms on sale, and these are as low as 7 cents a chip, which I think is ridiculous as far as how much this costs. And I didn't even get a sample set of these. These are 1 chip each of the 1,000 chips of these that I have. I have a ton of these chips, and I use them for poker, and I use them also in my in my 18xx games, and these are like kind of like my travel set. These have taken the place of those small little chips, basically because they're light enough. I like the way they look, and as I said, they were super cheap. They're like, some of them were like 14 cents, I think, or 12 cents a chip, and some of them were as low as 7 cents a chip. So like, and that's like unheard of for this next gen version. Couple things I like about this. First of all, they have lots of denominations, like 1, 2, 5, 10, 25, 100, and then 500. Oh, I forgot, there's even a $3 chip. So like 100, 1,000, 5,000. So like, they have all these different denominations. The edge spots, I like them a lot more on these Dunes chips than I do the Desert Palms. I guess like there was like a true clay version of the Desert Palm chips that existed at some point, but they aren't made anymore. They have that same kind of logo on the outside that says, like you can see Desert Palm, you know, Las Vegas, Nevada. That's on all of them. Something that's cool, like the sticker that's on here. Technically, these aren't inlays. People talk about the inlay. Inlays are on like true clay chips because it's like hot stamped in. These are stickers. You could peel these up with an X-Acto knife if I wanted to. But these, like you can see that the color of the tree, the palm tree, changes for the different denominations, which I thought was a cool little added thing. They didn't have to do that. It's just kind of nice. Like as I said though, I wasn't as big of a fan of the edge spots. I still think that that's a good looking edge spot that's on these, but it's okay. Now, a couple of things about these. I got these $2 chips just because of the fact that I was going to have games that are going to want this. This is an ugly chip. The edge spots, you can't even see. Like, you're looking at that right now, I mean, but you can see there's like a purple and then like a darker purple or something like that. And you look at the side, yeah, you can kind of see the difference, but that is an ugly chip. But I got a bunch of the $2 ones just basically because they'll work for different things, and having that denomination is nice. And then I don't have a problem with this, but when we played, and both this chip and that chip, this $500 and this $25 chip, they're on like the same thing. I've had people like lose track of these chips when they're stacked up, like, and I think it's just because of the larger green here, and it's just, and then you have this purple that's very much, and so on the edge it's like it just kind of can get lost, so that kind of stinks that these two are kind of close like that. But for the most part, this is a great set. Like I said, I have 1,000 of these chips, and I think this is an excellent investment if you want to get like a higher end chip. I think you can go over to Apache Poker Club. That's the only place I found where these are at, and they're on like on sale, on clearance, and so I don't know how long they'll last, but you might want to check this out as far as getting a chip if you are interested in having a nice set for your home game, or just or as replacement for money for your 18xx games. So those are, like, I think they're called the NextGen style. Once again, I might be incorrect. Now, moving on, what we're getting into now is we're going to go to what's called a China clay. Now, this is actually like they're called China clays. They're not a true clay chip. As I said, I don't have any of those, but if you go to a casino, you're going to find true clay chips more often than not. Some of them have ceramics. I'll talk about ceramics here in just a little bit. But true clay chips are very, very expensive. They're over $1 a chip. But the nice thing about true clays is that you kind of can, like the companies that allow you to buy those, like classic poker chips, you're able to design the ones that you want. And so you can, you're gonna pay a lot of money. You're gonna pay, if you want a set of like 500, you're gonna pay like $800 for them. But you're going to have exactly what you want, and they'll create them for you. You're going to wait a few months, but you're ultimately going to have like a chip that's going to last you for a long, long time, and it's going to be exactly what you want. Now, these are what's called China clays. China clay is a mass-produced chip that is made out of a clay composite. Now, you can go ahead and research that and find out exactly what that is. By all means, go for it. I didn't bother. It's just these. They have no insert in them. I don't know how to describe how these feel exactly to you. These feel light, but they feel like there's substance. They feel solid. If I wanted to, I could probably try as hard as I can, and I could break this. I'm not going to do that though. And these, actually, I ended up buying a very, very large set of these as well. I'm just going to do a poker chip quick because I want to just do something fun. There you go. Yay! Anyway, so these these have more of a rounded, beveled edge, which, for whatever reason, I don't know why. I don't know why I like these sharp edges that are on these, but I just really enjoy those. But anyway, so these have like this kind of like a beveled feel to them, but they stack really well. One of the things I learned from watching videos of chips is that like people like having stacks of like 20 or more just at a table when you're playing poker. And so one of the things is, like, if you take all the chips, like take a bunch of them, and like you push down on either side, and like they don't raise up on the other side, like I'm pushing down, and you don't see any really gaps over here. That means like the chips, the quality control for the chips is really well done. Like the width of the chip, it's just as wide over here as it is over here, and so forth. And so there isn't a spot where, there's nothing raised up that's going to cause those chips to like teeter at all when they're in a stack. Now, these are called the Majestics. These are called the Milanos, and these are called the Pharaohs. Now, these are completely and totally interchangeable as far as like how much they weigh, how big they are, how they feel, how they stack. The China clays are all really, really good chips. What it comes down to is what you like the most. So Milanos, these have been around, I think, of the China clays, these have been around the most. They've been around the longest. I actually, when I ordered my sample set of these, I actually had a few of them show up broken. I mean, because they are a little bit brittle. Like I said, if I really, really wanted to, I could just crank on one and I could probably break it. And I've had these break, and somebody like flips into the table and it just hits just perfectly. The nice thing is that Apache Poker Club does offer a warranty for all of their chips for 1 year. So like if you get some that are shipped to you that are broken, they'll replace them free of charge, and also if they break during the year that you own them, they'll also replace those as well. So it's something really cool. Excellent customer service that I got from Apache Poker Club. So I mean, these are just going to be these are just good chips. I mean, it's going to come down to aesthetics. I really like the edge spot on these. I love this little trapezoid here, and so like it has the 3 color on the side, but then it has like the little trapezoid. I really like that. I don't know why I didn't end up going with the Milanos when I got my China clay set. I think it was just because I liked these better, the Majestics. But let me just show you the Pharaohs. Now I almost got Pharaohs, and I'm going to tell you why. Because one, they have tons of different denominations, like all the way down to a 5 cent right there. So they have tons of different denominations. But oh, this is a Milano. Never mind. I don't know how that got in there. All right, but and that's a Milano too. Anyway, so man, that's a Milano too. Anyway, so there you go. These are the Pharaohs. Now, one of the things I really liked about it is like, if you'll notice, the Pharaohs all have like a different little cartouche or whatever it is that's on there. Like here's the Sphinx, here's the dog, and I forget what that is. Like Osiris? I don't know. But anyway, the Mask of Tutankhamun. So they have all those different things on there. So like they went to the trouble of having a different sticker or inlay or whatever as you want to call it on these different particular chips. What I also liked was they actually have a edge spot progression. So if you notice, like the 5 cent has on the quarter has 3 and of the different colors, and then like you get up to a $1 and you have those diamonds. Then here we have the Pharaoh, the $25 Pharaoh, and then and so I didn't get the $5, but you can kind of see that they have the progression, and they've actually gone to the trouble of changing it up and making it different as you kind of climb the ladder as far as the different chips. And I really like that. I mean, a lot of the different sets just don't do that, and so that kind of made me, like almost get this, and almost get it. And these are great for, if you know how to shuffle chips or anything like that. The China clays just are really good quality, and they just feel good in your hand. Now this is the set that I ended up buying. I ended up getting 1,000 of these. Now these run you about 30 cents a chip. And this is my home set. This is the one. These are the chips that I keep in my house, and when people come over for either playing 18xx games or for playing poker or craps or whatever, these are the chips that I use, and I have a bunch of these. And I don't know what it is. I'm not gonna go too far into it because I mean it's like I said, it's all aesthetics. It's all about what things look like. I just really liked these chips. I like the edge spots. I like the line along with the diamond, or with the triangle. And I love the black sticker in the middle. I think it makes the colors around it pop. And these, when you have a bunch of these stacked together, when you're like either playing, whatever you're playing with them, they really pop and they just really look good. And I mean, this was after I got this sample set, and I kind of just sat there and I looked at them and I looked at them and I looked at them, and I tried to figure out which ones I liked and which ones I didn't. This was the one that, as far as like the mid price point, as far as how much they cost, like I said, right around 34 cents a piece. Those are the ones that I ended up getting. And but once again, all the China clays are going to be the exact same as far as that's concerned, as far as the quality. It's just going to come down to personal feelings about the chips and nothing else. So, all right, so we're going to leave plastics behind. We're going to leave China clays behind. I don't have any true clay chips. Like I said, I'm in the process of trying to figure out if I want to spend that kind of money on a really nice set. It's something I'm considering, and I'm doing some research into it. But there is one other type of chip out there, and they are called the ceramics. Now, ceramics aren't like a ceramic pot. These are, once again, these are just plastic. And there are tons of different kinds of ceramic chips out there, and these are chips that I thought about getting. I felt very strongly about possibly, and some top-end casinos use ceramic chips for their official chip. Now, the vast majority of them use clay chips still. And those are created by a company called Paulson's, and Paulson's used to make clay chips for consumer use, but they don't do that anymore. They just don't make it, and it's one of those things where they just discontinued. They just exclusively sell to places of gaming, places like casinos and riverboats and what have you. But ceramics, some top-end ceramics are used. For example, the European Poker Tour, if you ever watch that stuff, those are all ceramic chips. Those are not clay chips. But anyway, regardless. So here we have, these are ceramics. And now I don't know how to explain, I'm going to try to explain how these feel in comparison to clay. Okay, so clay they feel, I don't want to say gritty, because they don't feel dirty. But like, here's this 100, and you can kind of see, and I should have shown you this, but there's like, and hopefully you can see this without the glare. You can see there's that like little indent, that impression that's around the edge. Okay, so there's an indent there, and so you can feel it when you rub your hand around it, like so. And you can kind of feel there's like a 3D feel to it. And plus, like I said, it feels like like you're holding on to like kind of, it doesn't feel plasticky. I mean, it does have a little bit of a plastic twinge to it, but it does feel kind of like clay. Now, that being said, ceramics, these don't feel like plastic, but they do feel. They're lightweight. They weigh about the same as a China clay. They were like 9 grams. And if you can kind of hear this, if you hear that, there's a texture on this. Like, we talk about in the board game world, like cards having that linen finish. These chips have kind of a linen finish, and I don't know if there's any shot that you can be able to see this, but you might be able to kind of tell if I get that close enough. You can see that right there. So it has those little ridges. Oh, cool. You can see that. Now, these are I think these are called a Crown Laurel set, and I got these as a sample set. And I got these because of the fact that I really liked a few of the colors of the chips. Like, I really like this purple chip, like with the fiber. Now, I had problems with this because of the fact that, these numbers on here are super tiny, in my opinion. Now, once again, and also, like the outside, they have these little lines there, which that didn't do anything for me, and they actually have the denomination on there as well. But but some of these denominations, like you can kind of see, like they kind of it isn't the full number because of whatever with the printing, because these aren't like a sticker. These are like as the chip is being made, the coloration and this design is imprinted on the chip. As it's being made, and so that is it isn't going to come off. It isn't going to wear off. Now, these, I don't even know how to explain this, but and I should mention that and this is something that just maybe go, what? Why bother? So they also have this chip that's 25,000, right? So it's but it's like this big honking chip. It's bigger than the rest, and this doesn't really fit in poker chip cases and things like that. I don't know. I don't know why they bothered with that. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool. It's if you're playing poker, it's I bet 25,000 with my big giant green chip. It's whatever. You don't understand the point behind that. But here's my problem with this. Now, remember when I talked about the fact that when you stack up your chips, you can feel it's there's you want them to be nice and concise, and you don't want to feel like they're sliding. But when I'm doing this, I can kind of feel them sliding around on me, and I don't like that. And plus, you can kind of put these down, and you see that? That's called a spinner. And what that means is there's a chip underneath here, that there's something about this chip right here, or the chip that's on top of it, that they are not touching flush, but I can kind of spin around. Now, I can't do that with these Duins. There's nothing there. I can't do that with these Desert Palms. It's just they won't spin. But here we go. I can make this spin like a top if I want. And I didn't like that about them. And as much as I like some of the colors that were on there, I ultimately, that was a big thing. And I should mention these China clays, same deal. even more. These things are just rigid. I mean, they're just not going to spin. If you could have a stack of like 40 or 50 of these, and as long as nobody comes to the table and starts shaking it, you're going to be fine. It's just not going to fall over. And these are all, like I said, once again, these are all things that came into, like, they were important to me as far as how the chips like looked and how they worked. But ultimately, once again, the chip is just there to represent the money. So this is just all aesthetics. I should mention, and I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to. Like, these are going to last, all ceramics are going to last a long time. But if you take something sharp to them, you can put little scratch marks in there very, very easily. If like something should happen, like they will get scratched up, and that'll just happen, you know. And the thing is that you shouldn't expect your poker chips just to nothing ever bad happen to them. People are going to be handling them, people are going to be dropping them, people are going to be messing with them, and it's just, that's going to happen. And if you worry about it, you know, I don't know what the point would be to worry about, because you can't prevent it. But anyway, so I did get a few other types of ceramics, and I'm going to show you two of these. These are what's called the Tikis. I kind of liked the idea of this, the fact that you have these like these tiki like images on here. For the most part, I like the way they looked. I hate this $1 chip. I just absolutely hate it. Look at that mess that's on there. It's just like, you can't really even see, in my opinion, you can't really even see the guy that's sitting there. You can't even see that dollar. You know, it's just, the dollar chip is just a complete mess, and I don't like that at all. But for the most part, I like this set. I thought they were pretty cool. They have the same, let's see if I can show that to you again. They have that same, like, finish to them, and it's like, this is like a more coarse, and I shouldn't say more coarse, but like a more fine, like you're not going to see like little lines on it like you did on those Laurel crowns, but you can feel it when you have it. And like, if I take two of these chips and I rub them together, you can kind of hear it again. These stack great. You're not going to have any of that wobbliness or whatever. I do love these little edge sides. I think these are great as far as like the different like little like instead of just being straight up and down, they have that. And like, if you go and you research ceramics, you will find that like they're able to do a lot more, because they're able to just kind of print whatever they want on these. And ceramics, actually, you can get your own set with your own pictures and everything like that. And all of the places that make these, they almost all make them to order. Something I'm going to talk about here in just a little bit, but it's very important, actually. But and so you can design your own chip, once again, with ceramics. And you know, they sound a little different. Like, here, like, listen to that. You can kind of see, like, it kind of sounds like plastic. Now listen to this. A little duller, you know, whatever. So, I mean, that's neither here nor there. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But, you know, that's just something you like. Now, that set, I was like, I really wanted to get these, actually. I wanted very, very badly. But the thing is that they have this. This is all the denominations they have. That's it. They have this $25. They have this 25 cent, a $1, 100, 1,000, 500, and 5. There's no 5,000. There's no other, like, you know, it's just, I didn't think that like the options available to me were really well made as far as those two. They look kind of cool, other than that dollar, which it looks absolutely hideous, but you know, I thought they're cool. Now, these are a chip that I almost got. These are the Lucky Dragons. And this is once again a ceramic, and I loved these chips. I'm a big fan of dragons. I love mythology. I love like the whole idea of the dragon, like, you know, both Asian and Western dragons, and I liked the look of these. You know, I dug the dragon on them. I love the fact that there isn't a dollar sign on these. There's no, I mean, admittedly, this 25 cent and this 50 cent, and this is a very, very beautiful chip. And for whatever reason, I really like the look of this. They have the cent on there, but all the rest of them, they just have a number on them. So if you are, you know, if you don't live in the United States, you know, and you want to play something that you don't want to play with a dollar on there, that's really cool that on there. Here's a couple things that I didn't like. The edge spots. Now, once again, This is just me. I did like the fact that their edge spots actually, unlike the Laurel Crown, the quality control of these is way better. So that you can actually see the full number. Let me just grab here's like the 25,000 chip, which once again, very nice looking. But you can see just big, bold, 25,000, easily seen, whatever. And once again, like you can maybe see this, I don't know, but you can kind of maybe see the texture. It's kind of tougher to see on these, but these stack amazingly well. There was so much about these that I liked. I liked the design of it. I liked the fact that, like, because of the fact that they don't have a dollar on there, I could easily use them as like victory point chips, things like that, instead of other games. So many different options available to me. And like, here you have like the whole, like, do they rock back and forth? Not at all. These are just, the quality control in them is perfect. They have no spinning. That's a rigid stack. I mean, it's not going anywhere. I could actually, like, here, this is a story I'm going to tell you a little bit, but I actually got another set of the same sample, and here, like, look at that. I mean, it's just, it's hard to explain, but this is rock solid. I'm shaking my table. It's not going anywhere. So if you're playing poker or whatever, or playing, 1856 or whatever, and somebody comes back and kicks the table, like, I really hit the table hard. Those things wobble to and fro, rock solid. I mean, these are excellent chips. Now, a couple things that I didn't like about them. Look at this. Why did they do this? It's such a great set. But here we have 1,000 chip, and we have a 5,000 chip. Why make these? Let's make 1,000 chip a yellow. Yeah, great. But let's make the 5,000 chip kind of like an off yellow. Why? Why would you do that? I mean, like, if you have a stack of these, and I understand that it's probably really evident here, but you have to understand, like, if I'm playing poker, and we have stacks of these, like stacks of 20, 30, 40 of these, one of these is going to slide into, like, your stack 1,000 by mistake. It just happens. It just, especially, like, if it's, like, late, it's 2, 3 in the morning, you're going to have that happen. Yes, ultimately not a big deal, but you could have, like, there's so many different colors in the rainbow. You could have picked for either one of these to change, and it wouldn't have made a difference. And, that, and the fact that, ultimately, it was one of those things where these are going to run you about 55 to 60 cents a chip, depending on how many you purchase and depending on where you get them from. The nice thing about ceramics is that, for the most part, you don't have to buy them in racks of 25. Everything else I've shown you so far, you have to buy in, like, racks of 25. And so, like, but here, if you wanted 23 100s and you wanted 17 5000s and whatever, the companies that sell these are going to, take care of you as far as that, and they're not going to, like, that's fine for them. They're more than happy to do that, which is really cool. Now, I want to tell you a story, and I realize this video is long, and maybe you've watched all of it, and maybe you haven't, but I'm going to tell you a quick story. So, I mentioned Apache Poker Club. They, excellent customer service. I have no complaints about them whatsoever. I got my my Majestic set through them, and I have no complaints about that company. Anyway, great prices, great service, whatever. So, I went looking for ceramics, and when I was looking for my set, I went to BR Poker, and I was recommended by several different places. They said it was a good place to order stuff with. I ordered sample sets of both the Lucky Dragon and the Tiki from them. And I ordered a sample set, and the thing is they say on their website, your order will take 2 to 3 weeks for processing. Well, I was under the impression, I guess, maybe weirdly, that the sample chips did not have to be processed. I mean, they say they make these chips like as they're ordered, so to speak. So like it's like you put your order in and then they go and they make them, which I don't know if they do that or not. But part of me was kind of like, that sounds a little fishy to me, And so I ordered them. And like a week had gone by, and I hadn't gotten any shipping information, or whatever. And the thing about it too is, like, BR Pro Poker, you don't set up like an account with them. You just pay them the money, and then they eventually will send you the chips. And so you're kind of just sitting there waiting. You can't go on, log in, and admittedly, This is coming. Maybe this is common practice for poker chips. I don't know, but for me, for like all the different places I bought board games online, it's like you have an account, you go in, you check and see if it's processing, you check and see if it's getting ready to be sent. All those different things, and so I was kind of at a loss a little bit, as far as like, why hasn't this been sent? It's been like 5-6 days. You gladly took my money. Where are my chips? And so, like, BR Pro Poker had a phone number. It said call us, and so I called that number and I left probably a half a dozen messages saying, this is my order number. I just want to know why it hasn't been sent. They have a contact us thing on their website where I went and clicked on contact us, and I sent them like about the same number of emails asking, this is my order, what's going on? Didn't get any response, none whatsoever. Finally, after digging through their website for like 20 minutes one night, I found an alternative email address that went directly to what I think is the guy who runs the company. And I sent that guy an email and I said, hey, here's the deal. It's been like a week and a half since I ordered these chips. Where are they? Why haven't they been sent? And I actually got a response, which, great, I got a response. And they said, oh, well, it's like, we would have sent these out, but we were waiting for the Lucky Dragons to be made. We ran out. And so we're waiting to get those, and then we'll send them out. We should have them in a couple of days. A couple of days means 2 to me. I don't know. If you look up Google couple, it's 2. We should have them in a couple of days, and I'll send them out immediately. I was like, all right, well, great. That's, at least I got a response. I'm a little annoyed, but I got a response. So 2 days go by. No shipping notice. No nothing. Didn't get anything. I'm like, oh, this is ridiculous. 3 days, 4 days, 5 days go by. So I email that person again. It's like, hey, you said you were going to send these like in 2 days, and it's been like 5. Have these been sent? No response. So it's like, oh, maybe like he doesn't answer replies to old emails. So I re-emailed the email address. Same question. No response. I mean, it was just, in my opinion, I was like, what the heck? This is ridiculous. So I went online. I was like, you know what? I'm giving up on that order for whatever reason. I'm just going to cancel it. But I wanted to find some other place that I could get these samples. I really wanted to try out these Lucky Dragons. I wanted to see these Tiki Kings. And so I found Old West Poker Supplies, and they had the same exact stuff. And I was like, awesome. I'm going to check these guys out. I'm going to give them my business. And I think the sample sets were even less there. And so I ordered them from them. So within a day and a half, I got an email back from them that say, hey, your order's shipped. I was like, perfect. Thank you. Thank goodness. It's finally a company that is going to take care of me and going to go ahead and process this. So now here's the kicker. So like I get an email say, yeah, it's been shipped, and I get a tracking number through the postal service. And of course, then I'm getting that great thing where it's like, oh, it's like you check the tracking number and just says the postal service has been notified that your shipment will be made. We have not received it yet. And every single day, that's what it was. It's like the postal service has been notified. You'll get it. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And so but admittedly, when I emailed them and I said, hey, it's like I emailed you like 4 or 5 days ago. I ordered 4 or 5 days ago. You told me it was shipped. Nothing's going on. Why hasn't it been sent? I got an email back almost immediately from the customer service gentleman, and he said, I don't know what's going on. It's like, I think there's like 4 or 5 of these orders that just haven't been sent. I'm going to find out exactly what happened to that. I'll get back to you. All right, fine. So a day goes by, I don't hear anything back. And I realize this is a long story, and I apologize for that, but ultimately what happened is that I'm sitting there, and I'm like, and I finally just got fed up. Like, basically, I was getting the runaround. He's like, I'm going to personally have somebody go to the warehouse and find out what happened to your order. I'm going to check it. And, like, it just felt like I was getting excuse after excuse after excuse. So, finally, I just wrote an email. I said, you know what? It's been, like, a week and a half now since you told me my order was shipped. Just cancel my order. Give me my money back. I'll look elsewhere. And to their credit, the guy said, you know what? I'm going to look into this. I'm going to try to find out what's going on. But regardless to anything, I'm going to give you back your money. And I'll make sure, I'm going to see if I can get your order sent out. So, I got my refund. Awesome. Notice, I hadn't heard anything else from BR Pro Poker this entire time, over this course of this period of time. And so, I'd given up on it. I was like, you know what, I'm just not going to worry about getting ceramic chips. It's like, so how did I get these? So the reason I have 2 sets, and I actually have 2 sets of the Tikis as well, is that one day I went to my mailbox, and here I found 2 packages. And I'm going to try not to show off my address here. Not that I think anybody's going to send me hate mail or anything. But anyway, so this is one package I had in this shipping department. BR Pro Poker, 300 Long Shoals Road, Arden, North Carolina. All right. Pretty cool, right? And I also got this. Shipping department, Old West Poker Supplies, 300 Long Shoals Road, Arden, North Carolina. So here's the story. Basically, those two companies, I don't know if they're related or if they do whatever, they basically employ whatever shipping department, whoever creates these poker chips. And for that matter, I found out that Old West Poker Supplies is on like the West Coast, whereas this particular company is in North Carolina. And so, it's like they're not there. And so, does that matter? I don't know. I mean, it's just from both companies. Like, admittedly, with BR Pro Poker, they went completely silent when I was basically questioning, "Hey, where's my stuff? Hey, where's my stuff? Where's my stuff?" After one response, I never got a shipping notification. Never got notified of anything. The chips just showed up one day, and with Old West Poker Supplies, at the very least, they responded when I contacted them via email pretty much every time. So if I absolutely had to order something, I'd order it from Old West Poker Supplies personally. It's like maybe I just caught BR Pro Poker on a bad day. I don't know, but just that I want to tell you that just because I'm not trying to shame them. I'm not trying to think. You know what? I'm sure they both have thousands upon thousands of satisfied customers. But for whatever reason, I got caught in a perfect storm of weirdness, and that was what it was. So, all right, so long trek here. I'm just going to show you one last set, and this is a set that I'm seriously considering getting for several different reasons. Now, this is a unique set of poker chips because this set is specifically made for board gamers, and I've kind of led up to this, and I apologize that if you tuned in to check this out, but this is what it is. So these are the game night chips, and they did a Kickstarter a while back to fund this, and so people could get these chips, and now they're selling them. Now these chips, and I'm gonna put these onto the side around, but these chips are all ceramic, and once again, they have, and I don't know if you're able to see it or not. Probably not, because this isn't a darker chip. Maybe I'll show them with the other ones. But these chips have the feel or whatever. They are very well made. They are ceramic once again. And these are the victory point chips. These are chips that you can use in exchange for other victory point chips or other victory points for whatever reason that you'd have in other games. I love the fact that on one side it has the color, and on the other side it doesn't. Here, I'll actually turn these over so you can actually see the color side of these. They come in several different denominations, so for whatever game you want to replace the victory point like denomination, whether it's like little cardboard chits or whatever, you can use those. There's even negative amounts for like games that you are going to get negative amounts, like Seven Wonders and things like that you can collect those. So I mean, these feel and look amazing. They are just like any of the other ceramics, but they're the high quality ceramics. I didn't encounter any spinners with these. These are rock solid. Again, you can if you're somebody who shuffles chips or plays with poker chips, you definitely can do that. Of course, now I'm not gonna be able to do it because I'm doing it poor. But here, let me try a smaller stack. If you are somebody who does poker chip tricks or whatever, these work for that. If that matters to you at all. These are excellent. I love the looks. I love the sides have like the victory. Here, let me get that in focus. CC victory on the side. And like I said, it's like if you need a 4-point victory point chip. So I love the edge marks on these. I think they look amazing. I think they look really cool. Now here, and as cool as those are, these are absolutely amazing. I keep thinking I need to get a bunch of these for my both playing poker and other like roulette and craps or whatever that I'm going to be playing. Plus, get these for my 18xx games. There's no denomination on these. thank you. Thank you for no denomination. Just because of whatever reason, if you are going to be playing, if you don't happen to live in the United States, or if you are playing like a game that like doesn't have a denomination for the money unit or whatever that you're going to be using, you can easily incorporate these without having any loss of immersion or anything like that. I love the fact that the denomination is bam, it's right there. It's very evident. There's nothing hidden about it. I love the fact that a lot of the ceramics, like the Tiki Kings, let me show you these. The Tiki Kings, they don't even try to line up the stripes with something with a design on the actual chip. These, however, look, it's like here's your 100 chip, and if you look, it's like obviously they're specifically trying to make sure that like it looks and feels like you would for a high-end chip. I mean, just I love the looks of these. I think they just done an amazing job with these. They have up to 10,000 as far as the chip is concerned. These stack great. They are great chips. They're amazing. I mean, the only thing that might detract from these chips a little bit is the fact that they are going to be on the higher end of the price scale. You can buy a set of 100 for I think like $90. There's no rocking here. There's no spinners. Absolutely amazing chips. I think that if like more people in the poker world knew these existed, they would get them for their poker tournament games and things like that. But as it is, the game night chips are kind of more of a gaming chip, and I can't recommend these enough. Like I said, it's one of those things where it's like I want to get a set of these. I want to get a set of like 100 of these that I can bring with me wherever I go. They're the lighter ceramic, absolutely beautiful, absolutely wonderful, and everything. All those little niggling concerns that I have with all the other ceramics and things like that with the weird colors and whatever, completely not there with these. It's just, these look awesome. They look amazing. And I would strongly suggest going to the Game Night website and looking at the possibility of getting a hold of a set of these, because I think you'd really like them. So, there you go. Thank you very much. I know this was a very, very long video about poker chips. It was kind of all over the place, especially with a really long story about customer service in the middle. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch it. I appreciate that. If you have any questions about poker chips or anything at all, ask away. I'll be more than happy to try to answer those to the best of my ability. Like I said, there's tons of resources out there. I invite you to go check those out and expand your horizons. Whether it's just for playing your board games or playing poker or whatever, just like having a nice set of poker chips is just kind of a nice thing to have. If you're in that point where you think you want them, I hope I've helped you locate a set that you're going to like and want to use in the future. All right. Thanks a lot for watching. This is Undead Viking. You take it easy.